our guest speaker. Okay, our guest speaker is Mr. Alex Funk, and Alex started in the January program in 2019. So his first day of training was actually 26th of December 2018, right, Alex? Okay, his first day of training was in what we call the big dance, and he sold 10,000 in his was it 10 or 12 or what was it in your fast start?
12. Yep, 12.
10,000 in your fast start. So in case you guys don't know this, that means a rep would make $2,600 in his and 4 pay raises in his or her fast start. So you made $2,600. He was the only rep in our region that, as a fast starter, was allowed to come on the January trip to Jamaica. So in 10 days of working here, because he started during the big dance, he won the trip to Jamaica. And I think that probably hooked him. It was the jerk chicken, wasn't it, Alex? It was the jerk chicken.
100%.
All about the jerk chicken. So we actually had just a couple before you got on, a talk about Australian cuisine. So anyway, Jamaican jerk chicken is amazing. So you won that trip, and it was great to have you joining us. And it was like so cool and weird to have this, brand new rep that no one knew on the Minneapolis team knew him, but no one else in the region did. And he was on the trip, and he had a great time, but you could tell he was a leader. And then he became an assistant. Well, he's just a rep, right? You won a scholarship in your first summer. So
yep, I was just a rep.
Yeah, you sold 50K, something like that in the summer?
40 I finished that.
And I think you had 26 of your friends start the job, not that summer, but over the last whatever year you've had 26 of your friends. The 2 main times were probably the summer and then the January program this last January. Right?
January program had a big bulk of them, yeah.
Yeah, it was mostly, that's right, like 24 of your friends started the job in the month of January, and you won the trip to Cabo.
Yes.
So that was your second vector trip that was the fun vacation trip, right? And then you loved the trip so much that you won a trip to Spain that you're not going to be able to go on because your mom won't let you. Your mom's COVID, whatever, okay? And by the way, then this summer, so you went from being a rep in 2019 to not only being a branch manager, but being a number 4. Was it number 4 in the company this summer, Alex?
Number 8, we finished that.
Number 8. You did $268,000 officially for the summer, and your offices are probably around 300 maybe for counting April and September. You're probably darn near 300,000 for the, part that happened before the summer and after the summer. But officially, what I have here is $268,000 tabbed for the summer campaign this summer. Yeah, they pay you to do this, don't they? It's not
yeah, they do.
Not just free trips and jerk chicken. So you made some pretty solid. If you're comfortable, did you do your P&L yet for the summer?
I just got in an email like 2 hours ago. I didn't even open it. Oh,
if you want, just for fun, it's the bottom right-hand corner. It'll tell you your total expenses and your total profit. $268,000 in the era of COVID. And then vector while you're looking it up if you want. It'll say total. It'll say net profit, bottom right-hand corner of the main spreadsheet. Anyway, he got paid. You saved a bunch of money. How much did you have in startup before you opened?
Before I opened, I had $13,000.
13,000 of your own dollars, and you had sold like what, 100 or 70 or 80 or something.
At that point, by the time I opened, I was at 80,000.
80,000, okay. And so you'd saved 17 or 13 grand, and then the company paid you $6,000 cash, 2,500 for mailers, and so you went in with a pretty cool war chest of almost 20K, and then you spent some money on mailers probably and did a crap ton of PRs. You recruited. Is it 58 for the summer or 78?
58.
58 reps launched in your office, and you did 268,000. What was your? You mind sharing your profit?
I couldn't find it on here. Total income was 42,000 this summer.
42,000. Okay, cool.
That's not profit though.
Yeah.
Not a lot of expenses.
Yeah, and it doesn't count all your startup and all the money you went into it with. So you'll subtract your expenses from your 68,000 or whatever it is. 63,000 or whatever. All right, cool. So Alex, his talk, guys, is entitled. I got to share screens for 2 seconds here. I just, if I don't, I'm not doing my own self a good service for all the work that went into making a slide for Alex. So here's Alex Funk, everybody. Okay, so and trophy winner last year at SC2, a scholarship winner as well, and a number 8 in the country branch office. So I don't have any slides for him, so I'm going to unshare screens now and just spotlight Alex. His talk is called Rep to Branch Manager Greatness, because he really did some really amazing, great things this summer. And so I'm going to give you Mr. Alex Funk. Let's give him a collective round of applause, some snaps, some love. All right, Alex Funk, take it away.
Thank you, Phil. I appreciate it. Where'd you dig that picture up from?
Hey, I got my sources.
That's sweet. Okay. I'm going to actually share my screen. Oh, Phil, let me share.
I can do that. No problem. I didn't know you were. Oh, you said no slides, but you have something to share. Okay.
I did. I put some stuff together for you guys. This is special for you guys in IMD.
All right.
I'm actually really excited to talk to you guys and be here genuinely. Phil, have you guys all listened to Phil's Changing Lives Selling Knives episode? I sure hope so. I didn't know half that stuff about Phil, so I messaged him right away. I was like, all right. It's like, I didn't know you were such a sales stud yourself. That's sweet. But no, you guys have awesome leaders in IMD, whether you're working with Phil and Zach, Jesse, Emily, Parker, Holly, Caden, or Adam. You guys seriously have awesome leaders in your division. If I were to work with one other DVM besides Dane, don't tell Danny Lewis this, but honestly, it'd probably be Phil. So you guys have a lot of good stuff going on. And before I begin, I want this to be more of like an open discussion. So if there's nuggets that I say throughout, or if there's something that catches your ears, or something that I've said 3 or 4 times and you're like, he keeps saying the same thing, I want you to throw it in the chat room. So to kind of get the chat rolling a little bit while I pull my slides up, I want everyone just share one thing tonight that you learned or that you're excited to implement going forward. So one thing that you guys learned so far in TLA, I don't know what time you started. It's 7:08 where I am. I don't know what time it is.
A little over 2 hours ago.
Okay. So yeah, share one thing in the chat. Let's get the chat rolling a little bit. I was a little more humble with my name. Branched Success is what I went with. So you guys can see the screen, right? Which one? The one with 2 screens?
No, we see 2. So switch to presenter. The other, yeah, there you go. You got it. Okay. I'll tell you how to do it if you want.
I bet right now.
Now we see your profit and loss.
Now you see it.
Yeah, now we see it. You got
Perfect. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna roll right through. I want you guys to like I said, I can't see the chat room because I'm sharing my screen, but if you guys could share nuggets in there, that would be awesome for everybody. So the first thing I want to say is I'm actually very normal. So Phil was nice enough to share my accolades. I've also had a lot of failures, and I'm also a very, very normal person. I'm from a town of 1,000 people. There's 1 stoplight in our entire county. And so like I show Cutco to people in $200,000 houses. I sell to farmers. I was never a superstar athlete. I quit basketball because I was too short to lift weights so that I could be good at my other sports. And I still didn't play that much, unfortunately, but I was a part of some really good teams. And so I am pretty normal. I know that's the whole stoplight thing in town of 1,000 is probably less shocking to you guys as when I tell people in Chicago that. But yeah, I'm from a small town people. And one thing that I just want you guys to notice right away is I've just worked really hard, and anyone can work hard. And so when people ask me like, hey, what was the secret sauce this summer? There's kind of 3 steps. This is the blueprint right here. Decide, ask, and lead. And so I want you to write that down. Decide, ask, and lead. All right. Number 1, decide. Side means to kill off. All right. Homicide, suicide, pesticide, kill off, choose an option. I heard this the other day. Ace Weekly Podcast, put a plug in there if you guys want to listen to it. But successful people, the reason that they're more successful than you are is because they've failed more times than you've probably even tried. And so that's a big decide, make a decision, go one way or the other. The longer you sit in flux, you won't have the success. You might not have the failure, but you can't succeed if you don't try. And so I decided to go to training. I want to throw some pictures in here. It's a lot of pictures, but I decided to go to training and I had success out the gates. But this was after I tried to quit twice. And luckily I had a good manager who talked me into staying. I decided to stay at training, which is 3 hours from my hometown. And I won the trip to Jamaica. As Phil referenced, it was the time of my life. I was also very homesick the whole time. I didn't know a single person on the trip. I really didn't. I met great people, but I kind of went by myself. And it was great to meet Vector people. And like Phil said at the beginning, it's 100% the reason I'm still here is I got to see what Vector marketing truly was. And that was really special. If you haven't been on a trip yet, here's your chances coming this December and January. Don't miss a trip. I was told on that trip, there's two types of people who never miss a trip and people who make excuses. And I was like, all right, well, I'm never missing a trip then. And so went to Jamaica. It was a blast. I met great people. I graduated with 70 people who were all pretty average. This trip had 70 people on it who were a lot more than average. And so I was introduced to the Vector opportunity firsthand, and that was special. I got to see Silver Cups in person, which was really cool. And I got introduced to the North Star division. The coolest thing about starting in December and January, the winter break program, is you start and then the year-end banquet is like 2 weeks later. And so I got basically just like pushed into getting to see the success of our division the year before. And so I was just thinking, okay, so everyone wins trophies and everyone does cool stuff. And that was a blessing in disguise as well. So that's another big part of starting in January as well. In my opinion, the best time to start. So you guys, I don't know if anyone here started in winter break, but if you didn't, congrats on being here because it's even cooler when you start in winter. But okay, don't worry, you guys' first winter is coming up. So I made the decision at that point, I was going to be a rep. I was going to do it in the summer of 2019. I was going to quit being an electrician. I was like, this Cutco thing, this might be my gig. And I also made the decision for some reason that I was going to branch next year. I was like, I'm going to do it. And there was a lot of hesitancy, but that was kind of the plan. My manager, Casey, he had the whole Drew Frank thing down where it's like, work hard in training. You'll have a great fast start, and a great fast start, you'll get to 30%, you'll get to 50. And when you get to 50%, do you think you'll ever worry about money ever again? No. So you'll be financially free forever, whatever. And I kind of took that and ran with it. And so I decided I was going to branch until it was actually time to branch. So I wanted to do it, but I was pretty hesitant. I didn't really want to do it, but I did, kind of thing. And Dane texted me. He said, I want to meet with you for Leadership Academy. Are you around? This is at 8:39 a.m. I said, yeah. By 8:59, I sent Dane a voice memo of every single reason why I didn't want to be in TOA. I know I'm kind of weird like that. I didn't have the courage to tell him in person. So I literally spent 5 minutes recording myself telling him every reason why I didn't want to run a branch. I didn't want to be in TOA. I didn't want to move forward with Cutco. Really, it was me scared. Dane knew that. He could tell that. Same thing, I tried to quit in training a couple of times. But yeah, I was kind of freaked out by the whole branch thing, obviously. Dane called me. He's like, Alex, we're in the middle of SC2. Why don't you just keep selling and we'll worry about this stuff when it comes. I was like, okay, good point. And so I went to SC2. I won the rock right there. But the whole time at the conference, I wasn't even having a good time because all I could think about was, oh my gosh, what am I going to do next summer? Am I going to branch? Am I not going to branch? Am I even going to work here? And this was a paper I saved. And I was digging through the paper documents trying to find it. You can't read my handwriting.
Yeah, how many of you still have that somewhere, right? That's awesome, Alex.
So I kept it. And what it says is basically 1 year from today, I hope I'm back at this exact conference with an entirely new story to tell. I hope God guides me through the questions and concerns I have about branching. And ultimately, it is his plan. Whether that's branching, selling, moving on from Vector. Good thing I didn't do that. I'm in such a state of confusion right now over what I should do. Ultimately, I want to have inner peace. I know that wherever I am 1 year from today, I can trust God put me on the best path for who I am and what I strive to be. I genuinely hope that's with Vector, and I hope I find the courage to branch. I was clearly overthinking everything, but I didn't know what I wanted to do, and like I didn't know if it was the right move or the right step, or if it was something that I could do and something that I would be able to do. And then Dane asked me to, he basically said like, hey, write down the reasons why you want to do it and write down the reasons why you don't want to do it. And I did. And what I came up with was, it just kind of made sense. It just kind of made sense. Here's the 5 reasons why. Insanely low risk. Phil mentioned at the beginning, the company gave me $6,000 to do it and the opportunity to sell at 50% for 2 months. So even if I completely failed and flopped, fell on my face, I could still sell at 50% for 2 months of my life. And I can trust that I can hit the newsletter for 2 months straight and make $4,000, which is what I would make working as an electrician anyway. So I was like, financially, there's not a lot of risk here. Future endeavors, I was going to school, but I didn't know what I was going to school really for. I was like bouncing around majors like that, you know how that goes. And so I didn't really know what, but I knew that this could help me. Coaching was something that I felt, I started to take a lot of pride in. If you guys have seen my Rex video on my YouTube a while ago, how I get 15 Rex, it was really cool when people started saying like, oh my gosh, you're the Rex guy. Like, thanks so much for the help. And I was like, what? Like, you've seen that video? And that was when you do something, it's cool. But when you help someone else do the same thing, maybe even better, 10 times cooler, I promise. The 4th thing here, Vector, man, the company, the people, everything about it. How could I step away is really where I was. Like, why would I leave? There's nowhere better to be. And then the 5th thing was the support. I had the support from Dane. I had the support from my division. And what I realized was that Dane believed in me. I believed in Cutco, and I believed in Vector. Cutco, you guys, dude, best products in the world. I don't know if you guys have been on my YouTube lately, but I've just compared it to Lululemon, and Cutco is unreal, you guys. It's the best product in the history of the universe. There's nothing like it. Truly, there is nothing like it. The moment I was sold on Cutco, my mom had a studio set from 25 years ago. She sent the whole thing back to get sharpened. They just replaced half the knives for free. I didn't even think they were in bad shape or anything. I was like, all right, well, this is sweet. Best product ever. And so I went back to school after the summer. I was selling on the side. It wasn't my main thing. And then I became obsessed with real estate. So I was listening to all these real estate podcasts. You guys, Vector was in the back of my mind. I thought about branching, but I was still like, maybe not. And then Dane sent me this podcast right here, Colton Horn's podcast, the branch manager Silver Cup champion last year from Chicago. He sent it to me, and I put it on the way home from a demo. It was about a 45-minute drive. I don't know how long the podcast was, but I pressed play on my little phone mount, listened to it the whole way home, was absolutely mesmerized, pulled in the driveway back at my college house, put the truck in park, and as I put the truck in park, Dan Cassetta literally signed off on a podcast. And I was like, all right, well, that's fate. Like, if you don't believe in God, there's something going on. And I was like, now I guess I have to do it. And I was just mesmerized by what Colton was able to do in his story. And I was captivated by it. If you haven't listened to this episode, please go do so. It was amazing. And his story just, I was absolutely captivated, like I said. And at that point, it was game on. I was like, I'm doing it. I'm running a branch. I texted Dane. I was like, all right, I'm in. I'm like, what do I got to do? Call me tomorrow, please. Can we have a call? And so what I did was I decided I was going to do it. Made the decision. I'm in. So that was step 1. Step 2, ask. If you guys remember this from the beginning. Number 2, ask. And there's 2 parts of asking: seeking information and calling on for an answer. And so I texted, friended Colton on LinkedIn, messaged him, and I said, hey, I'm opening a branch. I have a question. When do you have 5 minutes? And he replied right away. I felt like I was messaging a celebrity. You guys, I was like, oh my gosh, Colton Horn answered me. But I asked him questions. And the only question I had was, what he said in his podcast was something about working with one of his friends. And something I really struggled with was talking to my friends about the job. I was never a great team builder before last winter. It's like mentally, I don't know what held me back really. So I asked him, how do I ask a friend to work with me and do it? And he said, he basically said, like, Alex, your potential business partners are a lot closer than you think they are. And so I started thinking, if I'm going to run a branch, I want a totally, like kick butt assistant manager to do it with me. I'm like, who could that be? And I started thinking through, and these were 3 guys in my life that I was like, all right, these 3, like, here's my golden ticket. Like, I'm going to have all 3 of them. I pitched the idea to all 3. 1, very receptive, very excited. 1, on the fence. 1 wanted no part of it. All right. That's going to happen. And the one that was receptive, you'll see in a minute, but he was all in, and we started creating the vision. And so, by the way, you guys, these were 3 of my really good friends. And I just started talking like, hey, you guys, I'm running a business next summer. I was like, you want in? I was like, I want you to do this thing with me. And I explained it. And one of them really liked it. You'll see who that was. Okay. And then I realized, wow, people actually answer questions. And so I started asking more. Questions. Casey Fenelon is the guy in the middle. He's who trained me in. And then this is Seabass. He's in our region, and his brother Jacob. I knew Seabass because my current manager was dating him at the time. And so I asked Seabass, I said, hey, look, man, I feel weird about telling my friends about the job. I was like, you got to help me with this. I was like, I feel so weird about it. I don't know if, does anyone here relate? Like, I felt weird. Then I told Casey Fenelon, I was like, look, man, I'm running an office next summer. Why would I recruit right now? I was like, I want these people next summer. I was like, why would I recruit during winter break if I can have them next year? I was hung up on that. And then I asked Jacob, I was like, look, man, what was the difference in year 2? Because his first branch was 130,000. His second branch was 270. That's a colossal number for a branch office. I was like, what was it? I was like, what was the thing? And all their answers, just so you guys don't have to go figure this stuff out, don't worry, I'm giving them to you. When I told Seabass, I'm like, hey, I feel weird about telling my friends. I was like, I feel weird about it. And he basically was like, dude, he's like, it's no one's telling you have to recruit. It's not an obligation. You don't get paid money to have your friends here. It doesn't work like that. He said, it's truly an invitation to work next to, compete with, build a business, build an empire with your friends. That was the first realization I had. Was it's not an obligation at all to recruit. It's truly an invitation to give the Vector opportunity to my friends, my network, the next person in line who needs it. And that was the first breakthrough for me. The second thing I told Casey, I was like, why would I recruit? I'm not a very selfish guy, but I was like, wouldn't I save the best people for the summer? And Casey basically said, Alex, he's like, your friend, Casey's who trained me in winter break 2018. So this was for winter break 2019. He said, Alex, your friends need this opportunity just like you did. And he said, why would you be the reason that they don't get the opportunity? He also explained that just because in the summer, some people already have work lined up, or like people are less apt to take the chance maybe. He said, winter break, it's such a small window. If anyone's going to try Vector, it is the perfect time. And he said, you basically might offer it up to everybody because you never know who's going to take the 2-3 week opportunity. I was like, okay. And then the last thing I learned from Jacob was, your summer staff will reveal themselves in the winter break program. That's what he told me the breakthrough was. And so I combined all 3 things. I was like, okay, well, it's an invitation to work with my friends, and I can get more people to start in winter break. And out of those people break, a couple of them might stick around for summer. Like, okay, well, I can do that. So Dane told us, make a top 50 list. So I said, screw that. I put together a 141 list. Put together a list of 141 people. And these were friends, ex-girlfriends. These were friends' roommates. These were roommates' friends. These were cousins. These were people a year older than me. These were people I played sports against. These were people I played sports with. These were literally anyone and everyone I knew. And I was like, I'm playing the numbers game here. Some of these people need the job. And so I put a 141 list together. I don't think anyone in North Star had more than 141 people on their top 50 list. I'm very competitive, so I wanted the most people. And the first winter break class, the first training class of the winter break program, I randomly snapped this photo and saved it. And in the photo, I realized months later, when I was doing a different talk, I realized I have 7 PRs in one photo of a training class. 7 PRs. That's a pretty significant amount, right, Phil? That's pretty decent.
Yep. I think our record's 4 in our office. So yeah, that's awesome.
So randomly, I was looking at the photo. I'm like, these 7 people. I was like, where do they come from? So the first 2, Caleb and Grace in the front row. And I also had, these were other high school friends, 10 total, my high school friends now at this point have remember, 10 kids from Piers in the last 2 years have sold cut. So you can have a territory anywhere. You could have a territory in Piers, Minnesota. What did I do? I talked about it with them. Did I cut out my back?
Wait for a second. Yeah. So you had 10 of your friends from Piers?
10, or wait, 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 people from Piers. And how did I get them to start? Talked about the job with them. Told them I'll have my manager reach out. I basically left them on a cliffhanger. And then I put nearby.
You cut out again. You left them on a cliffhanger. What was that last part?
I left them on a cliffhanger, and then I put them on my top 50 list.
Okay.
That was the last thing.
So in other words, for number 1, Alex, it says you talk about it. It's not like you just invite them. You just talk about it.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, I love my job, or, I just made $300, or we just went on a trip, or I have a team meeting. Like you just told them, oh, I got Champs Club in the morning after the gym.
Yeah. Or like I have demos tonight. I would literally just talk. I didn't do this until leading up to January. I would always kind of hide Cutco from my friends.
Right.
And I just started talking about it.
But instead of selling it, you just randomly make it part of your typical conversation.
Yep. I didn't sell the job at all. I just
or you learned not to.
Yes. Yep.
And then you said, oh, I'll have my manager reach out, and you made your list.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
Because what I found out was when I first started working here, I tried to tell people how life-changing the opportunity was and everything. You guys, nobody wants their lives changed. Nobody thinks their lives need to be changed. Everyone thinks they're doing just fine. And so nobody wants that life-changing opportunity. Trust me. I found it the hard way. Nearby high schools as well was where some came from. College friends. If you guys don't get the trend here, I just was like talking about the job casually, told them I had my manager reach out, and then I threw them on the list. That's how they all ended up showing up. I didn't sell it to anyone. I just let Dane do it because he's been doing this a lot longer than I have. Trusted the program, laid in front of me. And then the last category was the only different one. If you guys remember those 3 guys I mentioned earlier, the one out of the 3 was Jared Erickson. I don't know if you guys have heard the name before, but it was a little different with Jared. I called him up. I painted the vision of what I wanted the office to be. Oh, I'm back.
Yeah, you painted the vision of what the office could be.
Yep. And then he came down to my college town, visited me. He got in training, and the rest is history. I think he sold $110,000 this year. Cabo was a blast. But I didn't know Jared before Cutco. We were mutual friends. I knew him through another friend. But I knew his story, and I knew that he could be a good fit for what I was trying to create. And he was. But I was 1 for 3, you guys. I batted 33% in guessing who would be good at it. So what I found was it's a numbers game. 141 on my list, 70 responded positively, 31 of those set up for an interview, 27 of those set for training, and 17 launched on my entire list. So it truly was a funnel. And I believe all 141 should have launched in my heart. They all needed the opportunity, but 17 wanted it. And to Jacob's point here, 17 launched, 13 sold over $1,000, 7 sold 6, 3 sold 10. 3 of those 141 people were 10K fast starters. Guess who were my AMs? Guess who showed up as AMs? Jared, who was a steroid PR, who I knew would be good. The other 2 guys, I really want you guys to see this. Devin Pasick played sports against the guy in high school. We talked twice. He was number 63 on my top 50 list, and he was an AM with us this summer. He 10K fast start in winter. He stuck around for the whole shebang, and without him, we don't do what we did. But Lucas Audi, you guys, I'm telling you, we would have did half the business without Lucas Audi. I played baseball with him my whole life. He was a family friend. We never hung out besides baseball. He was a year older than me, and 127th person I threw on my list. Never in a million years would I have thought this guy would sell knives, ever. So I threw him down just because, why not? And Lucas was my sales manager this summer. I tell everyone, the most underrated assistant manager. I had no experience coming in. Me and Lucas figured this thing out together. And it was an incredible experience because I had him next to me. 127th on my list. Good thing I kept going.
Yeah.
And because of that, the council was born. And then the last piece, asking, obviously I asked for help, and then I asked 141 people if they wanted the opportunity, and some of them ran with it. The last part of this is lead. Take initiative, take action, give an example for other people to follow, guide, conduct, hold by the hand while moving forward, lead from the top. In this picture right here, these are all branches that opened this summer. And the difference between them and me is I feel like they had run interviews and knew how to get into Vector Live. I didn't. I had ran one career interview before this summer. I watched closely as like Dane and them were running them, but I ran one interview before the thing.
And you never went to Apex before you opened?
No, there was no Apex. Yeah, no Apex. Know what a PC was, and PDI was unheard of. Never heard of PDI. I had been PDI'd, but I didn't know what it was. What did I have though was I had a vision. I now had a staff, and I had my dream territory. And the reason I got my dream territory was because I had $13,000 saved up before the summer, I believe. And so I earned Dane's trust. He gave me St. Cloud. And I had a big time vision coming into the summer. I didn't have the experience they did, but I had what I feel like is 10 times better. If the why is strong enough, the how reveals itself every single time. So why did we do so well? If you were like, Alex, we don't care about the story, give us the bread and butter. How do we have a top 10 branch? Here it is. Fire number, great interviews, and buy-in. This is the top 3, you guys. Write it down. Next summer, take this and run. Fire number, what specifically about it was lead the way. I took a lot of pride in our fire number every single week. You'll see right here, this week we were number 1 by a decent margin, 58 we had in 1 week. This is our biggest week. And it was one of the biggest weeks of anyone in our division the whole summer. And we were just a little branch office. But the reason that happened is because I called my AMs one night at 10:30. I didn't call. I said, hey, hop on my Zoom right now. They hopped on. And I basically, for an hour straight, I pitched them. I was like, you guys, we're running out of time. We have 3 weeks left to recruit. Like, do we want to do this? I repainted the vision again. I was like, are we trying to do something special? Here's what it'll take. I walked them through the plan, the process, and we scheduled 58 that week. And in result, we had a really big couple of weeks after that in sales, which led the way for the rest of the summer. But social media posts from our team was a really big part of it. I had Jared actually call the reps, one of my AMs, and he called the reps every week. And in our office, we had 384 people this summer fill out our Google form application. I don't know perspective wise, what is if that's a lot, but 384 people took the time to fill out the application to work with us, because we got posts up and we drove that. And Jared would tell him every week, hey, Alex will love this if you throw this up on your story. And one conversation he would specifically have with reps, he'd be like, hey, we were the number 3 office last week in the region, and the number 1 office launched 12 people. You know how many people we launched? 4. So how do we fill the gap? We got to get more people in. So, hey, it would help a ton if you threw a post up. It's the little things here and there. Alex would love it. They'd throw a post up. We get a ton of applications, and things would change quick. We just grinded. We worked really hard. Like Phil was saying, we figured out Apex as everyone else did. Now Vector actually has stuff figured out. So that's exciting for next summer. But yeah, we just kind of worked really hard and rolled with the punches, just like everyone else. And the biggest thing was the AMs bought the vision. When I told them we were going to do something, they did it because they believed in me and they believed in the vision and the process and they believed in what we were going to create. And second thing, great interviews. We showed we were genuine, real people in our interviews. I ran pretty much every single one of them, all except maybe 2 or 3. And I just showed I was real. I laughed a lot. I remembered things. You guys, Phil, when I talked to him the other night, he remembered our one conversation from Jamaica 20 months ago. That feels so good. Remember stuff, you guys. So a little hack. You don't have to have a great memory. Write it down. During PR calls, we would write facts down about the people so that when they were in the interview, we knew stuff about them. And even it's the little things too. If you're going to run an interview, you can go look at Vector Live. Who was their PR? Well, then you mention the PRs or the PR name in the interview, and it makes them feel really good that you remember that kind of stuff. Even if you don't remember because you have it documented, I think you remember, and that feels really good. Is a really big tip. And they bought the vision well. I painted the vision in every inch of what we were creating in small town St. Clair, and people loved that. And not everyone from the interview showed up to training, and not everyone from training launched, but the people who did wanted to create something special. And then the last thing here was the buy-in. Event is how we made it happen. We knew. I feel like I'm frozen. No, I'm not frozen.
Okay. For a second, you said the last thing was the buy-in, and then go ahead.
Event to event management. You guys, we knew if they launched on Friday, if we could get them to advanced training on Monday, then we could get them to team meeting on Thursday. And team meeting is where we had a ton of fun. We used to have a team meeting, we get them on the phone jam. If they were on the phone jam, we could get them to the next team meeting. And it was just from one event to the next is how we did it. And people wanted to be a part of something special. We tried all summer to beat Elliot James, and
it was like so close, right?
And yeah, we ended up losing by, was it $12,000?
Yeah, something like that. Sure. Thanks.
So yeah, we worked hard. We tried to catch him.
Yeah. Sorry.
And then the final slide.
Sorry.
What's that?
I thought you were waiting for me, and I got my wife walked in on accident, sorry.
And then the final slide, you guys, what did I learn over the course of the summer was health equals wealth every single time. We did $97,000 in business in May, and I was working out pretty much every day. And in June, we took a huge step back. And you shouldn't take a step back in the summer. It should be constant growth. We took a big step back, and in July, I realized I worked out one time in the entire month of June. So that was a big thing, you guys. It starts with that's how you create something special. That's how you equals your business will never grow faster than you do. And to be a good leader, you have to be a good person, and you have to grow a good person. The lid I learned as well. Operating at a 10, your AMs will probably operate at an 8, and your reps will probably operate at a 6. Well, if you show up every single day operating at a 5 out of 10, if you're given 50%, how do you expect your reps to give any more than 10, 20%? You gotta raise the lid of everybody else, because nobody will ever work harder than you do. Nobody will ever care as much as you do. And the last thing, my tip shining in my face right now, I've had these 3 things on it the entire summer. Just for the sake of time, I won't explain them, but these are 3 things I live by: progress over perfection, standard over schedule, and restore. So, Phil, how am I doing? I know I went a little over.
No, that was almost exactly, because my intro was exactly 180 seconds longer than it should have been. So your message was exactly 29.9 minutes, pretty much, Alex. That was fantastic. I love the idea of progress over perfection. That is actually your, kind of division mantra, right? Standards over schedule. And what does that mean, just real fast?
It means that if you say your standard, I'll do a sales example if you guys are selling right now. If you say your standard's $1,000 every week, does that mean that you're standing on your standard of $1,000, or are you reaching for it? Are you standing on your standard, or are you reaching for your standard? Because if you're reaching, it's not truly your standard. So that's what it means to me. And that means like Champs Club for me as a manager was a standard in my life. I was on Champs every single day. I was never going to schedule something over it.
So you worked out before it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in June.
Yeah. June was when you did
May and
work
July.
out. It's really cool to hear that, by the way, that you could manage and you figured out that you should manage your physical health, particularly in the summer, right?
That's the last part, and versus or. It's not one or the other.
That. Yeah. Explain that real quick just for these guys.
I thought that it was like, I thought I could be physically healthy or run a successful business. That is not how it works. You run a successful business because you are healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, leads to a successful business. If you have to do 2 less PCs to get a workout in an entire week, your business is going to operate 10x because of it. And I found that out the hard way.
Right. Right. Yeah. So great. You learn so much, and you actually learn more the higher level you're performing at. I'll say that. I'll take the liberty of saying that you learn so much more. Yeah, you can. Yeah, there you go, Alex. You learn so much more because you are doing so much, right? Right, and that was really fantastic. Hey, any questions for Alex? We only have a celebrity like him for a couple more minutes, and then he's got to go, probably sign autographs somewhere. Anybody else? Anybody have a question? Alex, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time. Thank you for your preparation. I can tell you really worked hard on that, and you also worked hard for 4 months to be able to have those lessons. So I'm really looking forward to seeing you continue to grow into the pilot division office manager that you want to be. I know that's what's on the slate for you this coming year, right? To take over the Minneapolis pilot office after the school year is over, right? Is that that's the skinny, right? Nice. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your leadership. You're a leader in the Central region, and thanks so much for your information tonight, okay?
Appreciate it, Phil. Hey, guys, sorry about the internet. Like I said, I live in the middle of nowhere. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah, their modems are powered by squirrels and small farm animals, so, it is what it is.
Pretty much.
All right, cool. Thanks, Alex. I appreciate it. Have a great one.
Yep, we'll see you guys.
All right. So, good stuff, guys. Let's go ahead. I need to do one thing and go.